Rang, back here with another edition of Zebra Tales. I'm going to give you another scenario of what happened to me in some of my refereeing travels. And so in the title of this, I called it When Hustling Goes Wrong. All right, so just to give you a little bit of background. During the off season, referees that want to stay active, referees that want to make some money on the side, they go into what we call hustling mode. And they try to participate in, whether it be AAU, try to participate in some of these AAU tournaments, make some money, participate in summer league, make some money. But it's the off season hustle, and they really try to grab some income. But in addition to the referees trying to grab and hustle for some income, whether it be some pocket change or some money to pay a few bills here and there, or to get them through the slow months. In addition to the referees hustling, you also have assigners. And the assigners are the ones who actually give the assignments to the referees, and they're in hustle mode also. And their main hustle is to try to make that passive income, contact the referees, identify the assignments, and then they just sit back and they collect their assigner's fee without actually having to show up to the gym. Okay. So what I had a scenario whereby one of the guys that I work with during the regular season, he sent out an email. He said that he has a girls' summer league coming up, and it pays $35 per game. Let me know if you're interested. And of course, he said, first come, first served. Now, background is there's 10 games, running clock, $35. The $35 is actually an increase from the previous year where it was like $30. So $35 sounds good, sounds real good, especially for off-season hustle. So I sent him back an email and I tell him that I'm available, I'm interested, I'm available. And he says, Mike, you're confirmed for the 5 weeks. Hey. And I'm like, hey, all right, let's get to this money. Let's get to this hustle. All right, so here's what happens the first week. Let's talk about the first week. So when I show up to the gym, I notice that there's 5 courts. Okay, it's a huge gym. There's 5 courts. There's 4 courts on either side, smaller courts on either side, and then there's a main course in the middle, main court that's in the middle. And the main court is actually like an Olympic size court. Okay. When we referee there during the regular season, it's tough for 2-man to tackle that main court. 3-man is more feasible considering that they use it for college level games. They use it for high level tournament games for high school. But that's 3 men running that court. But when I showed up for the first week, the assigner's not present. I'm like, okay, all right, no big deal. He's not present because, like I said, a lot of times they're trying to get that passive income. But one of the other refs informs me that we're going to be working 1 man. 1 man. 10 girls on the court. 5 for each team. 1 coach for each team. Parents for players. 1 man. Okay. And I was like, hold on, what? What? I was going to walk out. But I was informed that the main court was going to be a 2-man. So my response was, I'm going to work on the main court because it's 2-man. All right. Rather than walking out because I thought the advertisement of the assignment was misleading, rather than walk out, I said, well, I'm going to work the 2-man. All right. No big deal. You guys can work a 1-man on the side courts if you want to. Have at it. I'm going to work on the main court because I know what my worth is. I'm going to work this 2-man situation. All right. So I was told that my partner for the main court was a JV official, some unnamed JV official. No big deal. I don't have a problem with that. I work with JV officials all the time. But it appeared that my partner was running a little bit behind schedule. So I started on the main court because I already committed to the main court. I wasn't going to flip-flop and say, oh, well, if the partner's not here, I'm going to work on the side court until my partner gets here. So I was anticipating, okay, main court, 2-man, $35. I'm good for that. Let's have at it. Now, lo and behold, she never showed up. So during the course of the game, I'm looking back, looking at the door. I'm looking at the referee table where we get dressed and what have you. I'm looking for my partner. I'm looking. Okay, we get to halftime. She's still not there. We get to the end of the game, still not there. So I'm like, surely she's going to be here for the next game. If you're running behind schedule, you might be 15 minutes late. You might be 20 minutes late. You're not generally going to be an hour late. The games are scheduled an hour apart. But she never shows up. So I do the 1-man. I do a great job. The coaches are pleased with the job. I give them a professional level performance. I do what I do. But I like to get paid for what I do. Yes. And so real technically I should have been paid double because she never showed up. She didn't even show up for the second game. I should have been paid double. All right. But I figured that would be accounted for. Now, that was the first week. So let's move forward a little bit. So going forward, I said, well, I'm just going to work on the main court. Every week, I'm going to work on the main court because even though my partner didn't show up that first week, I'm sure the partner will be there in subsequent weeks. So I'm just going to work the main court. You guys can go ahead. If you guys don't value your worth as an official, if you guys don't realize that you're being hustled, you're being taken advantage of, between the coaches and the assigner, you're being taken advantage of in some fashion, then you guys go ahead and work the 1-man. I'm going to work the 2-man on the main court. And so the next week, a woman shows up. I find out later that the assigner used her as a fill-in. Somebody had backed out. So a woman shows up. She has some health issues, like some back problems. So she doesn't move very well. And so it was compassionate. Out of compassion, she was assigned to the main court. And I was like, okay, that's fair. She's got health issues. And so she was on the main court, and the other partner that showed up actually was a female. She actually showed up that week, the second week. All right. And she was a little bit apologetic about not showing up the first week and saying, oh, it'll never happen again. I was like, okay. Because I know in some situations, if a person was no show, no call, no show, no show, no call, they would not return for any subsequent assignments. But somehow she managed to come back the second week. And because she was a JV official, the rest of us were varsity officials, she worked on the main court so that she could get some tutoring and some guidance from a veteran varsity official that had some back problems and some ailments. Okay. And because she was working on the main court and it was 2-man, the referee that had the back issue, she wouldn't have to move around much. And so I thought that was fair. It's no big deal. Now, the next week, I was getting ready to work on the main court again. So let me go back to the main court. All right, no big deal. But then, of course, that week they had another JV official that showed up as the additional referee. And the assigner showed up that week. And the assigner says, well, we're going to put the JV guy on the main court because he's really nervous. He's so nervous about working varsity. He says he's only certified for JV. All right, mind you, summer league, but he's nervous. Varsity level, I don't know if I can handle it. So the assigner, who I think was hustling us, some of you guys will say he was definitely hustling us, but the assigner, he decided that he would work on the main court in order to assist this JV official so there wouldn't be any problems at this varsity level. All right. So that week went by, and after the second week, I kind of felt committed. Because I had worked, by that time I had worked about 4 games. Yeah, I had worked about 4 games with them. These are some coaches that I see during the regular season. I kind of felt committed to go ahead and finish off the summer. I didn't have to, but I kind of felt committed, so I went ahead and finished out. All right. So let me give you a little bit more background. Let's talk about boys league. So that was girls league. That's girls varsity basketball. Let's talk about the boys league. So now I was assigned by a different assigner to work 2 games for the boys league in the exact same gym. I was informed that the pay had increased to $45 per game from previous years. In previous years, it was $30. This year, it was going to be $45 per game. And I was like, oh, yes. Sign me up for that. I'm signed up for it. I love it. And of course, varsity boys, it was not even a question of whether or not it was going to be two-man. Not even a question. Okay, it should never be a question on any, whether it's boys or girls, if we're talking about varsity. But on varsity boys, two-man, no problem. Okay, so here's the contradiction. How is boys two-man $45 when the girls one man? How is boys two-man $45 per referee, which is $90 per game, whereas the girls is one man, $35 for that one referee? So on boys, the parents and coaches have to come up with $90 per game. For the girls, parents and coaches, they only have to come up with $35 per game. Unless you're on the main court, and then somehow they had to magically come up with $70 per game. Okay. Shouldn't the girls be at least $45? At least $45 for the one man. And it really should be somewhere around $70 for the one man. Now, as I alluded to, normally the money comes from the coaches and the parents. So where did the rest of the money go? Because I know those parents, they're more than willing to come up with that money for their players to get some more reps during the summer. They're working on getting noticed, working on getting scouted so that they can possibly get a scholarship. Then you have some JV players that are trying to move to the next level. They want to improve their skills, but they also want to show their varsity coach what they can do. And so normally the money comes from the parents and coaches. Clearly the parents have the money, or the coaches have the money. So if the money is there for the boys, there's at least as much money there for the girls, because you still have 10 players out there. Maybe you have 8 players out there. You still have the players out there, so the money is still there. So where did the money go? Where'd the rest of the money go? It appears that the signer was making at least $30 per game for not even being in the gym. That's the way that it would appear to me. Okay, he was getting paid at least $30 per game for signing or providing the referees. And signers, I know that signers normally get some type of cut. That's no big deal. But $30 per game, at least $30 per game. Who knows? They may have been getting the other $45 per game. Okay? And so it would appear there was some hustling or some greed that was taking place in the background. So what y'all think? Was he hustling us? Was he hustling us? Or were the parents being chintzy with that money? Were coaches devaluing the importance of the girls' summer league? Was he robbing us? Was the assigner robbing us? Or should we have just been happy to get the work? Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you think. Again, until next time, like it, love it, or leave it. What's your take? You rang.